3 months ago, PewDiePie resurfaced on the internet with a new video on how to break free from the algorithm. Now, to be clear, if you actually watch the video, you will know he said you don't have to follow all the steps he gave, but at least one is a good start. I have been wanting to make a video discussing the same thing, but for social media managers, because I think it's a job that ties you into using social media, whether you like it or not. But I ran into two problems. I wasn't working as one anymore, and I didn't trust the solutions I had. What? You want me to say stay off the internet or cut your social media use hours? Just how counterintuitive would that be? I still tried the tips I came up with because I'm still managing my own social media account, and only one kind of worked. Give yourself off days. I can give myself as many off days as I want because I'm not under employment to work as a social media manager. If I worked as one, there's a high chance I would be required to produce content daily. Nevertheless, you would help yourself by having it as a term in your contract that you can be managing your employer's platform 7 days a week. But even then, I found myself planning content in my head on those off days because I was actually passionate about that job. Even better would be to use your weekend or off days to focus on a passion project, hobby, or event that doesn't lead you back to social media. We must remember that social media isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, PewDiePie's video was rather focused on using social media, but on your own terms and choices. He did not just go on a rant about how destructive it has become and that you should make like him and check out of it.
And I get it. Who cares? Another one of those, hey, I quit the internet. Look at me.
But honestly, I've seen firsthand that for social media managers and content creators, the best way to develop and achieve your content ideas is to live. In social media slang, that would be to touch grass. Seriously, I have been away in an institution preparing for an exam, the nature of which forces you to sacrifice a lot for a year in order to pass. Of course, the most trivial of matters will be high on the list of things to cut back on, one of them being the time I spend on social media. Since I've been here, I've developed more ideas and written them into scripts. By the time I started writing this video 3 months ago, I was inarticulate in how I was going to present my arguments as a result of overstimulation from how much social media I was using at the time, which, quite ironically, is why I first saw the PewDiePie video and had the idea to present my response under the title, my response to PewDiePie. That in itself again proves the point that indeed, using social media 100% has its benefits. In fact, the abundance of its benefits is why we can't help logging on. In summary, I can testify that truly we are all creative. It's just that the way social media is designed today, its environment wouldn't help you fully develop your creativity. The more offline I've lived, the more experience, ideas, and value I've gathered to share online. Creating content has become not just a fun occupation, but also quite a lucrative one, especially for how relatively it is. Case in point, the man in the title of this video, PewDiePie, who is living the dream life, at least to the knowledge of those who don't know him personally, with the YouTuber having made enough to semi-retire of creating content and move to Japan with his family. PewDiePie is a quintessential example of the life some creators like myself are trying to achieve. But between that life and where I am currently, both online and in real life, is the journey of, creating and doing so consistently. I don't even want to go into how competitive and saturated social media is for creators now compared to the time when PewDiePie made his name. By the way, I am in no way downplaying what PewDiePie has achieved. Again, his life right now is the general goal of every working class person, myself included. You don't gain 110 million subscribers on YouTube without having strong level of dedication and interesting personality. However, it is a lot more complicated. Especially in regions with high rate of unemployment, many youths are turning to online jobs, with social media and content creation being very popular options. Already, the social media manager has to monitor the analytics, study other videos performing well, probably subscribe to classes on how to improve, watch out for tweets or Instagram trends that perform well so that they can join in and use it to drive virality. Basically, they have to stay in the loop, keep up with AIs, tools, tutorials in order to keep their channel or content growing in quality, popularity, and conversion. And yet, in addition to these responsibilities, they have to deal with realities like the harsh economy and inflation. In Nigeria, for example, taking off days as a creator means no pay. And no pay does not mean that your needs or demands would not exist on those days. There's also taking care of the family while simultaneously trying to make sure that you have enough to afford commodities that are getting more and more expensive. No matter how much you make in a week, if you do not keep working and earning, you could be broke by next week. An independent content creator has the option of flexibility in which they can go offline as frequently as they would want. Contracted social media managers don't have that. And so I continue to search for a foolproof solution to digital overstimulation for social media managers under contract. However, I can confirm from personal experience that going offline or touching grass frequently moves you back into real-life experiences and helps you gather your mind back into articulation, which enriches your mind and life, the actual bank from which you develop content. You can then come back online, search out and select the strategy that brings popularity to what you wish to share and dress your content in that strategy.